Should I start? Okay. I'm not used to doing this, so we'll see. Ooh. What was that? Just a lid. My name is Karl Williamson. I work on the Perl core, and I do that for selfish reasons because I'm long retired. When my company started failing, they made us an offer, and few dared refuse it. And when I started working on Perl, I noticed my mind was rusty, and after not very long in working on Perl, I found my mind was less rusty. So my selfish reason is my decline has slowed from what it otherwise would be. So you can see how this goes and then think how much worse it would be if I didn't do work on Perl. So this talk is because traditionally this conference comes about the time of the release of the next version of Perl. And it's imminent. We're in a release candidate 2 right now. So within probably a week, we will have 5.42 out and available for general use. And the talk was traditionally given by the pumpkin. We no longer have a pumpkin, having driven them all off. And yeah, I mean, we got rid of George, the third. Now we got rid of our own kings here. So we have a steering council, and they have not shown up last year, and it was a mistake not to have this talk. And so, excuse me, yesterday we realized that there was no such talk, and I felt compelled to stay up late last night and write it. And Todd helped me greatly this morning in editing it. So here we are. Feel free to interrupt if I'm unclear, but I like Bruce's thing about what other kinds of questions should wait till the end. So in summary, we have a few enhancements, a lot of bug fixes, most of which I won't mention in detail. One incompatible change, but it only affects the debugger, people using the debugger, and a few performance and documentation improvements, and one big warning message that's caught a lot of bugs. And a lot of stuff for excess. Let me turn on my keypad lights. Let's see, so I can see. I think just the space. So here's the one and the two, essentially the same, similar enhancements that I like the best. Any and all, which are early returns from grep, basically. So grep keeps on going even if all you care about is if it's true or false. If any are true or false, any returns immediately, and you don't have to go through however many entries you would otherwise, whereas grep goes through them all, and all is the opposite. If something fails, it returns immediately false. I'm sorry?
You've re-implemented the quantum superpositions module.
Okay. And I don't know how, see that if is a capital. I don't know how to get this to non-capitalize the first letter of a line. So in classes, in support of the movement that Stephen just talked about, we have the ability to declare a lexical method and the ability to call a lexical method with the ampersand operand, and that allows us to have private methods. This was a small item. We introduced a medium precedence exclusive OR in 5.40, and we forgot to add the one that does an equals as well. And this is one that I implemented. The idea came from Rick, previous pumpkin, RGBS. You can declare at the beginning of your program that you're going to use UTF-8. We are now, all the encodings are going to be strict ASCII or strict UTF-8 and nothing else. You can't write something in Cyrillic without it being in UTF-8. So no KOI-8, which is a Cyrillic encoding. And so when we're parsing your input file, if we find a non-ASCII character, we'll blow up the parse unless you have said, I want non-ASCII. And we have a writer attribute on class field variables to generate that the setter thing automatically for you, which again we do it. Oh, here's this is gives some samples of how that works. So at the bottom, there was the set under bar X was added automatically for you. Smart match, something we've mentioned. It is automatically disabled if you say use 5.42 or in the future. And again, we tried to get rid of it, but we can't. It's like the cat that just keeps coming back. So, and Unicode 16.0, that's my expertise is Unicode. And it has mostly things that you probably don't need.
4,000 hieroglyphs.
And yeah, 4,000 new. I'm sorry? Yeah, so these. So let me talk, let's see, well, you're laughing at these, so I'll talk about those. So Unicode, when it was young and new, it was trying to establish itself, and it was it's like, you're willing to accept a lot of stuff if you're just starting out in life and you're not an established person. Like I graduated from college and during a recession, and so I ended up digging ditches that summer before I got into grad school. But if I were established, that I wouldn't want to dig ditches. It doesn't pay as well. So Unicode started accepting everything that was already a standard, and that is their mode of operation. If it was standardized by anyone, basically will accept it. And so these 700 symbols came from some standard somewhere, mostly for video arcade games. And that's why you have this alien monster with open jaws. Yes. And there's an alien squid with open jaws or open claws. And anyway, it was in a standard, and so it goes into Unicode. Hopefully you won't find a need to use this in your real life applications.
Code review. You just put in the comments, you mark it with the code qualities. Those will be Perl critic.
I'll repeat the question without the laughing. As a code reviewer, you could put this as a comment for your opinion of the code that you just reviewed. There's not many emojis. I don't remember what they are at this moment. But I would like to, about the Asian languages stuff. Most people here probably aren't into that. I've got till noon.
Yeah, it's just what I got.
What? He's telling me I have 5 minutes, but. I get 15 minutes of Q&A? Oh, well. So, line breaking. What that means is if you're trying to fold a line across, you have, say, an 80-column screen, and you've got a line of text that's 1,000 letters, where are the best places to fold it? You don't want to fold it in the middle of a word. So the line breaking algorithm tells you where the permissible places are. And in many Southeastern Asian languages and Asian languages, it's very different than it would be in a Latin character set implementation. And Unicode did not have adequate abilities for those languages until now. And a grapheme cluster is a similar thing that they didn't handle Asian languages. A grapheme cluster is, well, a word that you may be on some people's mind in this audience is resume. And the E has an accent over it generally, and that's not an American term, that's a borrowed word from French. And so that can be implemented in Unicode as 2 letters, an E and the accent. And that's considered a grapheme because they go together. It's one unit, even though it's implemented as 2 characters. And so it's a cluster you're not supposed to break apart. And so they've improved that for Asian languages. So, on. Another thing that we tried to get rid of and were unable to, the use Acme don't, the package separator. So you can turn it off though, and that's what we were able to accomplish. We pulled it out, broke too much, too many complaints, we had to put it back in, but now we can let you turn it off. We have this one known incompatible change, only known to affect the debugger. I won't go into other things, into the detail, but you could look it up if you care to. We had 2 CVEs that we had to fix. One I introduced myself, the original bug, which is the first one. And then we had a race condition in threads if a thread tried to change the directory. The XS, for the people who write in XS, we're working on it. There's a lot of stuff that's coming. If you do use UTF-8, you should convert to use the new functions that are in 5.42 if you're writing in XS. And against the libc strift time, we have new interface for that works a lot cleaner for you. And there's a lot more that I'm not mentioning. And those new things will be backported through PPP port shortly. I'm working on that. It's on this laptop. The warning is that I mentioned earlier is if you take the first line, not $x equals $y, that's not parsed as many people thought it would be. And we have had a lot of issues with, it turns out that that's found a lot of bugs. That warning, and people have complained and then find out, oh, this was a bug in my code. Let's see, I'm almost, oh, that is. So he told me I'm supposed to do Q&A, and that was the last slide, I guess, because it's not going any further. So are there questions?
Unicode, yeah. Unicode has hieroglyphics now. Can I write a cartouche with something like a zero-width joiner?
Can you what?
Write a cartouche.
I don't know what a cartouche is.
You basically circle around a group of characters to signify a name in hieroglyphics.
Like an Egyptian cartouche?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'll have to look into that. Thank you.
I mean, there's a whole new database called Unicode. So, I mean, you're an Egyptologist? Oh, okay. It means sand. Yeah. Anyway, it talks. It's a whole database. So we ship it with core Perl, so you can look at it and you can actually use it in a regex to do whatever.
Okay. Among the hieroglyphics included are all the Stargate addresses also included?
Are what?
Are all of these Stargate addresses part of the hieroglyphic set?
Stargate addresses? No.
Well, let's just say all the Stargate addresses. There aren't that many.
But that's just Milky Way. There's
I know that's just one additional. That's the galactic area code.
I am not an Egyptologist, and those 4,000 things mean essentially nothing to me, so I wouldn't be able to answer that. But you can go look through the database. Bruce.
With upgrades to Unicode that aren't the database, like the new algorithm, how do we implement that? Do we have code to use their algorithm? Do we use like an ICU library, or how do we get these new behaviors, not just the database?
So, which ones? Like the line breaking ones, or
The line breaking,
I had to
and all that.
I had to write that.
You did.
I mean, I had to implement their new rules.
Thank you.
No, I mean, it's how we've always done it. But there's things like, I mean, there's their bidirectional algorithm for the, some languages like Hebrew and Arabic are written right to left. But it gets very complicated to say, I know about Hebrew, I don't know so much about Arabic, that in Hebrew, Arabic numerals, what we call Arabic numerals and what Arabs call Indic numerals, are written left to right, even in a right to left thing. And so it gets complicated. Or was it life gets tedious, doesn't it? Anyway, they've made extensive revisions to their bidirectional algorithm. Perl core does not do that. I believe it does not implement that. I believe there is a CPAN module that does, or 2 or 3, and I do not know if they've gone up. They also made extensive changes to the normalization algorithm, which is how, when you have these grapheme clusters, they're supposed to be in particular order, and you have this algorithm to place them, the characters in that order. They publish a set of rules. I'm responsible for maintaining that code, but it just follows the rules, and nobody's complained. Well, yeah, we haven't published it yet. I think it will be, I think it's automatic. Last question.
Okay, so you just told us what's different in 542, and I expect that there is a Delta document somewhere that tells me what's different in 542 from the one before it. What if I'm coming from the distant past? Do you have something that will stack those things together and throw out the things that have changed, that changed?
Read Perl doc more than once.
Yeah, I mean, it's beer time.
Is there anything that sums up?
Yes, but you might answer the question.
Darn. No. The answer is, yeah, I mean, it's you. You it's Ruth's fault. You have to, you can, that's the point of a delta is, we do, I mean, or AI, you could get chat.
There you go.
Well, I was thinking of a static method that I could call.
Read all the Perl deltas and describe the major changes.
Right. Somebody was doing that yesterday. Was it Todd?
So there are development Perl deltas, and when we do a major release, we collapse all of those into the major version for that year. But if you're coming from 534, you have to read Perl delta 534, then read Perl delta 536, 38, 40, 40, and now this year's delta will be called Perl delta. So you can see all of those on MetaCPAN under the Perl distribution. And then ask GPT to summarize all of them.
Thanks, Karl.
Okay.
Thanks, Karl.